Hey, what's up, folks? Brock here from my workbench, aka my parents' patio table. And as those of you, I'm gonna wait for some people to hop on before I explain everything that I'm doing here. Hopefully, it'll be sometime soon, which is good because I'm gonna let my putty start getting warm, and I'm customizing outside, so that will help. There's gonna be ambient noises here because that's just the way it works. What's up, Curtis? All right, let me see if I can keep this on screen. So perfect. I got to remember this setup because I can actually do work here, I think, fairly comfortably. I mean, knock into what's holding it up. The problem is going to be that the sun is at my face, and this is literally the only place I can work on. So I am working on a Sabretooth, and there's going to be more that I do to the heads, I'm hoping to. And I spent some time today building up the fur, and I go, I might as well. Uh-oh. Is it already going dark? What happened? Can you guys see me? No, I think we're still good to go. I'm not too into the Moon Knight character, so I most likely won't do that, Giovanni. So anyways, I started working on building up his mane. It's starting to get fairly heavy, but I think this Omega Red buck is going to be able to handle it. So I thought, let's show, at least this is my way of doing fur. I am by no means an expert at any of this. I'm just going to show you how I'm doing mine, and I'm sure there's other ways of sculpting this that may be even better. But that's how I'm going to do it. Let me see if I can get the umbrella down and block some of that sun. Oh, this one now. Okay, so I think that helps out, and I think we should be able to see a little bit better. There we go. It's California, bro. It's too hot. So I'm using Procreate, and because I wanted to get rid of it. I've had it for quite a while. It's kind of old. Let's start with something small. What's up, Trippy? What's up, Arthur? Draw custom. Yeah, mucho pelo, chico. Hey, I'm Draw Customs. I'm glad that you jumped on here because I want to actually sculpt a spike for this guy, for actually two spikes that look like elephant tusks, or what's that? What's Pumbaa? What type of animal is that? I need tusks because I'm gonna have them coming out of his arm, kind of like the what's that premium statue? I forget what they're called. Yeah, not like, yeah, I guess kind of like a boar. And I want to see what's the best way to get that point, because I haven't really been able to figure out how to quite get that point, and maybe you have a tip. All right, so all I'm doing here is mixing part A and part B together for Procreate. And the technique that I've been using is just getting a little ball and then using my toothpick with some water to get this stuff, and I think it's looking okay so far. It's not exactly how I wanted it or I envisioned it, but I think it's getting the job done. I'm still working on building up on here, and then I'm going to build up over this, so that's what you guys are going to see. No, not that part, bro. Yeah, I know how to do that part, draw customs. I just want to know how to make the like the point of the tusk. Everything else I know how to do. I just don't quite know how to do it. I don't know if you've done that or not, but you've been doing weapons, so I figured you know how to make. Right, but so I know all the stuff about the wire. El filo, chico, no sé hacer el filo. Te lo voy a decir en español. All right, so I just make a little ball like this, and my fingers are a little bit tacky right now, so. And that's how I've done all of these. Let's start up here so you guys can see. Pretty much do that. And then I kind of flatten it out on the end. I got to make sure I don't put my fingers on this Procreate because they're not completely cured. And then the rest I'm just making a little wavy. Draw Customs, you guys should go check him out. He uses Procreate all the time. And I just figured out why he's more successful on using Procreate, because he lives in Mexico, and Mexico's always hot. One of the problems with Procreate is that it gets hard really easily, and it's hard to work with. But now being outside, and it's like 88 degrees out here right now, this is not going to be a problem for me as far as keeping its malleability out. So there you have that piece. Arthur, have you done that before? Oh boy, what's happening? We're getting some major delay here. Oh well, I'm gonna keep going. This is still a base piece, so I'm not too concerned of the shape back here, because I'm going to build over it, in case you were wondering. Arthur, send me a picture of what you did if you can on Instagram. That way I know what you're talking about. I think it's Sideshow. Yeah, it's Sideshow. And that's what I want parts of this guy to look like. I'm not going to be able to get it quite like Sideshow. No way, obviously. But I definitely like the look of what they did to the arms. You guys should look it up right now. And it looks like those tusks. Thanks, Wayne. Oh, we got good video quality right now. That's good. So this is very tedious work. I really appreciate some of these customizers that do the hair that look fantastic, like Christina Conan and Mike De La Paz. Face Customs. By the way, what you're not seeing, I'm just dipping. Maybe I should move this over here. That way you know where I'm getting some water. I'm just dipping the toothpick in water. Sometimes I use my own saliva. That's not looking too hot right there, but and I am trying to build it up to come almost just a little bit over his neck, so I still got some more to build up over here, so I got room to play with. Don't use the needle. By the way, I think I finally hit 10,000 here on YouTube. I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram a while back, but it's way harder to do it here on YouTube. It took forever, and then I took some time off and kind of lost steam. But we finally hit 10,000. How about them apples? I never thought I'd have 10 subscribers when I first started doing this. A few years later, 10,000. Kind of, I mean, it's not really a big deal in the YouTube world for whatever, but it's kind of cool. Arthur, that's all I paint with is acrylics. Oye, chico, mira quién llegó aquí. El cubanito loco de la Florida. By the way, that's how Cubans greet each other. A voy a hacer que volar, chico. I don't really say that, but he does. He's fresher off the boat than I am, that's why. Isn't that right, Abel? Thanks for hanging out, guys. 27 of you up in here. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I think it's Thursday. Sebastian, this is, se llama Procreate. The reason I like using this is because it dries more flexible. It's kind of like green stuff. I bought this on Amazon. This stuff is easier to get. Procreate, I haven't been too successful of finding tubes of it. But I've had a hard time dealing with it, and I think it's because it's been just way too cold when I've been customizing. Because I typically custom inside, but since I'm living with my parents right now, my family's living with my parents because we sold our house, and we're waiting to move. And I noticed when I was working with this Procreate, and it was like 93 degrees out here, I was like, oh, I can move it around, not a problem. I was like, oh, so that was the issue the whole time. Trippy Cheese, your mom's from Santa Clara, Cuba. I'm not sure where that is. I was born in the capital, but I came as a kid. You're welcome, Sebastian. Curtis is always up. He's always up late, man. Sometimes he contacts me late. It's like midnight my time, and He's in Eastern Standard Time. That dude's still awake. One of the things I'm missing right now is the reference art that I was using, or actually I was not reference art. I was actually using the photograph of that statue. So I kind of got a good idea, but I still would like to look at it, but I can't interact with you guys and look at that at the same time. I was doing this earlier and it looked like that, the smaller ones all the way through, and it looked more like feathers than fur. And one of my daughters goes, "Yeah, I think that needs to be widened out a little bit. It was looking too much like feathers." What's up, Robert? Inhaled farts. This is my country. I'm a naturalized citizen, player. I love the USA. Now I don't know about Fig Life. I don't know if he's naturalized or if he swam here illegally. En una balsa, un balsero. Just kidding, player. I know you're all sorts illegal. Actually, I don't know. I don't know that. Oh, in Central Cuba. Okay. Saw that, trippy. Thanks, FaZe. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hit 10,000. I don't know when it happened. It happened the last few days, I think. I got a notification from YouTube that I hit 10,000. 10,000 up on here. Make sure you guys watch all those ads so I can keep buying myself some product to keep customizing before my wife cuts me off. Not really digging the look of that, but we'll see what happens. Chin crease, it's it's one of those premium format statues. Hey, how do you pronounce that? Kaitor Z? Nos vemos. See you, Dra Costumes. Am I on camera doing this? I can't see if I am or not. See, so this stuff is so much, functions so much, or responds so much better when it's hot. Because I'm telling you right now, if it was inside, this would already become like rubber. And that's the text, that's the, get out of here, dog. Dog was about to knock over the camera. Oh my gosh. He wants to play ball right now. Brought it to me. It's a German Shepherd. I'm sculpting, player. Leave me alone. Yeah, so if you're just jumping in the chat right now, I'm working on a Sabretooth that I had planned over a year ago. And actually, I was interacting with Inhaled Farts, and I was showing them all the different customs that I had planned and had started and never finished. My dog's gonna knock this over. He's literally underneath my feet right now. Dude. gosh. Yep. That was, I told you, he just knocked that over. Good. The other German Shepherd just took it away from him. Good job, Jazz. Keep it away from him. Need a couple of bigger ones right here. Arthur F asked, you like the McFarlane Arkham Batman? I really didn't. I like actually the previous release. I like the head sculpt on the previous release, I should say. Obviously the body is, I think McFarlane did a little bit better with the body. But I think that old head sculpt is nicer. No, I got a Tyson. They're both rescues. And they're older now. But Tyson and Jazz, they came with those names. I didn't name them. I'm gonna build, it's like this wall that I'm building. Inhaled Farts, I really liked what you did with that Marvel Select Zombie Sabretooth. I would have gone for a different head, but I really liked how that looked. I thought actually that you had customized, but it was just like a kit bash. It was a cool kit bash. All these guys that I'm saying their names, they have Instagrams. And a lot of them do customs, so you guys, if you guys are hopping on here and you want to see some other customs, go check those dudes out. Gotta cut me some more. This is really old. Like the paper's forever stuck on that, but thankfully I can still use it. Actually, I'm gonna cut a little bit more. So Procreate, just like most two-part epoxies, depending on how you mix it, it will either cure firmer or more malleable. Or maybe malleable is not the term. It'll be more flexible is the better term. So this is some Procreate that because I scrapped a lot of the fur how I started it, but you see how I can bend? And depending on how you form it, it could actually cure bent and then it's still flexible regardless of its thickness. You won't be able to tell so much, but this is flexible also. And it just depends on how you mix the different parts. Let me go up in the chat. I missed a bunch of comments here. Kiwi, I hope so. I agree. They should have done it. There's some problems that you have with this bug because I have to figure out how I'm going to sculpt the fur up here, because most of the time Sabretooth's fur comes, oops, I'm off camera, sorry, comes across this way, and now I have the butterfly. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to stop this fur up here, but we'll see. BJ Palm 1994, what's going on? T Money, yeah, I already have the lineup for this week. I've had to choose. either working on my own customs. I've had a lot of things, a lot of pressures in my life recently, the last several months. And that's why I took a hiatus from doing this week. I love doing that. Plus, I mean, I love customs. I love other people's customs. And I also like using my platform to showcase those that want to participate using the hashtag This Week in Customs on Instagram, on their photos and videos. I like doing that, but I had to take a hiatus because it was either do This Week in Customs or work on customs myself. And I find this way more therapeutic, and I needed it. It was cathartic. It's a cathartic experience. So I'm happy to go live and share some of this live custom stuff. Especially if I'm free to work. Oftentimes when I'm doing stuff in front of the camera, it's very, very difficult. My fingers were getting tacky. Another thing you can do to remove tackiness is use baby powder. And again, I'm not a professional sculptor, or even I'm a novice sculptor for sure. I'm definitely better at putting figures together and painting. I think painting the figure is my strength at this point in my customizing journey. And sculpting definitely isn't, but I figured this kind of looks like fur, right? Let me show you how I'm doing it. So I decided to do work on customs. That's why I've been putting out so many customs on Instagram. And I'm keeping the head on here because I want to make sure he retains the articulation and I don't build it too far where the head can't be used. So that's why I haven't been doing so many this week in customs, although I did have one last week, and I plan on releasing one tomorrow. I haven't filmed it yet though. Ivan Freya says, I've been working on the Omega Red Buck to make custom venom. And he says he did not know what he was going to get himself into. Yeah, this buck is not easy to prepare, although you could definitely dye this buck. And actually, I had bought myself an Omega Red. I had bought myself like 4 or 5 Omega Reds when he first released, because I thought of different bodies that I wanted to do customs for. Like Thunderball was one of them, Sabretooth was one, and then obviously Venom is definitely one that I think would look awesome on that body. But you could dye that figure using synthetic RIT dye. But from folks that have done it, the butterfly joints can become problematic. That's the problem. Also, when you're breaking this figure apart, it's a pain in the butt because the plastic that they're using is thin compared to I just noticed that my dog unhooked the power cord to my phone, so I wonder if I'm going to be out of charge here pretty soon. He's underneath the table again with his ball. What was I saying? Oh, anyway, so this is a difficult buck to work on because everything's tight and the plastic is thin. So cracking isn't easy. I usually drill holes, and I think I have a video. Bro, you've really got to stop. All right, go get it. All right. I just threw the ball. And what was I saying? So I have a video of how I separated him by drilling holes. This guy, I try to use a method. I don't have his name off the top of my head. I think it's Zach Schultz. Maybe that's his name on Facebook. And he uses flathead screwdrivers to open these guys up. And he's got a method where you can crack it open. Well, I injured myself. It wasn't too bad of injuries, but I stabbed myself like 3 different times doing it. I was able to get it separated, but it distorted this plastic. So putting him back together was actually a pain in the butt. And as some of you noticed when I posted this on Instagram, that I had put the butterfly joints backwards. And the reason was because during the process of pulling it out, one of the butterfly joints has a what would you call it, a pin on the top and at the bottom that it gets lodged into a space, and that's what it rotates on. Well, the small one snapped off. I had to glue it back on, and when I went to glue it back on, because the body was distorted, it didn't fit perfectly. So I checked it on the other side and it fit. So that's the side it went in, because I didn't want to put too much stress on the glued piece. And I ended up with this, so that's why I covered it up and blah, blah, blah. It happens. And the dog is back again. Where's your ball? Oh my gosh. There you, oh good, the other dog got it. What was I saying? So this buck is kind of a pain to work on, and I'm sure the Warpath is going to be pretty popular. So that's going to be kind of hard to get a hold of. But I think this is just it's a great body mold. Ace Outlaw Custom says it's the Wolverine upscaled. The Wolverine from Juggernaut Wave upscaled. And it really is a nice figure, but very difficult to prep. Give me a second to get these things going, because I'm talking too much and not putting the putty down. And the problem is it's not that hot out here anymore. It's not that hot, players. And it's gonna be harder to work on. Here's another idea I thought of, that just tips on working with Procreate. And I'll get to the chat in a second, guys. I want to interact with you, but it's really difficult while I'm doing this. All right, you see that? It's still malleable, but what I can use is I can use a heat gun or a hair dryer. Put some heat on those puppies, and then there'll be oops, sorry about that. It'll be a lot easier to form. Again, most of these are still going to be layered pieces, so I'm not too concerned about how they look right at this moment. But I kind of want them to take shape, because then I think it'll be easier to look. So you see that's building up right there. I want to build this up like to maybe like right here. Because I don't need him to look up all this way like that. I'd be fine with just him being able to look up like that. So I still have a little bit that I can work on. Oops. Yeah, I really like that Sabretooth. Just the articulation, old Marvels. Hey man, the Marvel Selects now are really nice. And they're just missing a little bit of articulation, man. If they could just add a little bit more. I like their sculpt and paint better than Marvel Legends. And I think they scale well with the McFarlane stuff. So you could have, because I'm not buying all the McFarlane stuff. I'm cherry picking a lot of it. But I think it would go well with the Marvel Select. So you could technically, you can have some of the X-Men fighting some of the, or on the same shelf with McFarlane, which would be kind of cool, I think. Sebastian, I'm not sure if that was for me or not. Oh, Kiwi Collector, yeah. What Captain Snick has, that guy knows how to sculpt extremely well. He's one of the better sculptors. And Draw Customs is quickly becoming, he's been doing a lot of customs, and I think his strength, he was in the chat earlier, he's a Mexican national, he lives in Mexico, and I think his strength is definitely sculpting. I featured him in This Week in Customs a few times. Fig Life Toy Hunts, he also has a channel. Him and Alex were really funny. They were my guilty pleasure every week. Some crazy humor. I wonder if your show, if you were doing that type of show again, if you'd get canceled from YouTube. I'm surprised your stuff didn't get canceled in today's society, the way things are going. Surprised that somebody didn't go after you guys for the ton of shenanigans that you guys did. Cancel culture is crazy. My dog's back. You gonna drop the ball? Go ahead, drop it. Or drop it over here so I can. Oh. He just banged the heck out of his head. Here, give it to me, boy. Good boy. Here you go. The problem is he's got bad legs and hips. And I don't. Oh my gosh, he just caught that. Nice. I don't want him to run too hard. He's back again. Oh my gosh. I want to play ball. Go lay down, boy. Trevon, check out TRM Studio Inc. Is that your Instagram? Chick crease, it's not really, I mean, I don't know if you like how it looks. If you like how it looks, then I'll say it's not that difficult. I'm just putting little balls. You see what I'm doing. It's just, this part right here is, I'm just connecting it to the other fur. And then I'm using a wet toothpick to kind of mold this piece how I want it to look. And, you know, I'm trying to make it look like fur. That's his play bark. He's gonna knock over the camera just to let you guys know. He's literally underneath my table right now. He's a huge dog. And we have him on a pretty low calorie diet, so oh jeez. Dude, can you get out? Oh my gosh, get out. Get out. So he used to weigh like 125, 130 pounds. Now he's down to like 80, 85 or something like that, just to help him with his hips. It's like 10 years old. I think I'm gonna start building some over here, and then I'm gonna move to the front, and it looks like I gotta build on this side. Inhaled farts is trolling right now. Science and reason, yeah. I'm seeing a lot of science and reason in the news right now. This is the Marvel Select head scaled down. If you guys are coming in late to the chat, this stuff responds well to heat in the process of curing, so you can add a little bit of heat so it becomes more malleable. Thanks, Emiliano. No, it's good, Arthur. You know, one of the reasons I started doing custom tutorials, etc., even live sessions, so people see practically how a custom or parts of a custom, the custom process is, how that works, is because when I wanted to do customs, it was really difficult. There was not much information. Really, the only person that had anything related to customs on video and was great at it was Glenn Webb. There was some other people that would put out stuff in writing, but I don't function well that way. That's not the way I learn. I'm more of a visual learner. So I think I'm just gonna put this big chunk right here, try to build up the actually, let me heat it up. By the way, don't ever heat anything on a mat, on this green mat, because it will warp it. My mat is already warped because I've been customizing outside. If you guys know of a mat that I could use for customizing that will not warp, and I'm not talking about wood, something that would function like this green mat, that I could cut into and not be, protect what's underneath, let me know, please. But heat will warp the mat. Oops. Try this out for a little bit. I like this head. It needs fur or a beard closer down to his chin. I think this was a little bit on the empty. So I'm gonna sculpt here, and I think he needs some fangs. He doesn't have enough fangs on this head, but otherwise it's a nice looking piece. Toy Biz. Are you putting him inside?
I was just setting up.
Gotcha. I don't know how long I've been on, but it's really nice out here right now, so I think I may stay on here for a while and keep working on this. I'm talking to my number 2 child, that is. What's that? I did. I think I did. Is there, just check to see if there's water coming out of there. There is? Yeah, and then I didn't turn it off. Fig Life says I'm good at uncustomizing figs. Nightwalker says you could have bought fur from Michaels. Yeah, you know, I thought about doing that, and I saw actually a Star Wars customizer do a Chewbacca, and it looked pretty cool. I kind of wanted to, you know, this is developing a skill. And as you can see, I have to do that a lot, so it helps. Southtown Paint Apps, what is happening? Thanks for joining the chat. We got 48 people up in here on a Thursday night. Appreciate you spending your Thursday evening with me. What's happening? The dogs are going wild right now. Hey, Fig Life, what did Danny from Toys R Us say about Curtis? Crazy? Yeah, Ace really knows his figures well. The only other guy that actually will definitely give Ace a run for his money is Joey Rodriguez III. That guy is literally the Fig Bible. He knows Marvel Legends probably better than anybody. Now, he's not a customizer, so he may not know the internal mechanisms like Ace does. But Joey's one of my go-to guys when I'm like, what other body used, you know, like Bucky Cap? Who's used the Bucky Cap? He'll rattle the 30 different figures that have used Bucky Cap and their variations, etc. But yeah, some people are really into this stuff. For me, it's more of an aesthetic, pleasurable experience, like working with my hands, seeing stuff develop, the process, and then the end result. I don't really care about that this was a Wolverine buck before. That's not, but there's some people that just, you know, it does it for them. Nightwalker says he's got an iron pelvis. That's interesting. You break your pelvis and you had to have it replaced? What's up, AJ? I'm way back on the comments. Let me see if I can catch up. So far, so good. Now it's really nice out here. Punker Mike, you guys got to go see this one clown that he did from a show called Akira. That he suggested, oh, if you're not into anime, you can watch this Akira. I tried to watch that crap the other night, and it was god awful. It was super awful. And it was on his recommendation. I'm like, oh, okay. But anyways, he did a custom clown, and he used one of the Yokozuna WWE wrestlers figures mixed with a Soda Street Fighter, the Mike Tyson one. I forget what it was called. But it was really, he did a really good job. And he also did recently. He did a Pizza Man for Teenage. I didn't even know that was a character, but he does good stuff. And he did a ton of accessories. And there was something that I learned. What did he do? Oh, he glued fabric down. And I thought, maybe in the future I will try this technique. I'm planning on doing a Bane. And what he did with that clown was really good. Forget who was it that brought up Punker Mike. Punker Mike doesn't know me from Adam. I've never actually exchanged any conversation with him, but I've seen some of his stuff in those recent videos. And I think actually it may have been Curtis who suggested that to me recently. There's a couple of guys that add articulation to those McFarlane figs. Figure This Customs is the guy that showed me what he did to add articulate. It's really basic stuff. You just got to pop open the figure, and they actually pop pretty easily. And adding the articulation is also very easy. You just have to add room using a Dremel. But I added articulation to the newest Batman that they released, but I didn't do the thigh, and I'm glad I didn't. I saw him, he added the thigh swivel, and I didn't like how it looked. And for the purposes of posing him, adding the waist swivel, adding more range to the waist and chest area is good enough for me. I didn't think he needed the thigh swivel. And then somebody said that they added it to Azrael. A dude on Instagram said it. And before I add I don't think I'm going to add the thigh swivel on that one either. The cost over what's the term? Cost benefit of doing that. I don't know if it's worth it. How are we looking? Inhaled Fart says his strength is trolling. Fig Life Toy Hunt says I will never get concalled. What the heck is that? Arthur says I started collecting selects before I started collecting legends, and man, you save a little money with legends, but get way more for a little bit more money. Yeah, my first superhero figure was the Juggernaut, and that thing is amazing. The sculpt in that is unbelievable. I repainted it once I got the skills to do it, and it's one of my favorite figures in my collection. Love that. Absolutely love it. All right, I'm going to build up here. I'm trying to hustle some more legend or wrestling figures because I'm getting tired of these Legos. Okay. What's up, Skybite? Team Money, what type of Instagram do you have? Do you do, what is it? Collection? Customs? I find the best way to build an audience, and again, I'm saying it as a small YouTuber and small Instagrammer by YouTube and Instagram standards, but in the niche, I've been able to acquire a decent following, and it's just by producing content like this. Look, there's 55 people on here right now. I think that's awesome. And they're just watching. That's the best way to build an audience. There's some YouTubers that do giveaways, like a ton of giveaways. I know there's one YouTuber. I don't really interact with him, But the dude, all he does is giveaways. All the time, give away this, give away that. Well, you're going to draw attention to... They're there because you're going to give them free stuff, or potentially free stuff. They're not there to watch you or watch your content. If I knew, like, if there was like 3 people watching right now and nobody told me, oh, this is helpful, I wouldn't film it. Like, what's the point of creating content if nobody's going to watch, or if it's not going to be useful to somebody? Mr. V Game and Toys, thank you. Appreciate it. Does it crack with heat? Does what crack with heat? Are you talking about the putty? If you're talking about the putty, no. Now, once it's cured, as you just saw right there, I use a little bit of heat from a heat gun just to make it more malleable, which means it's just easier for me to control with the tool, my very elaborate tool that I'm using to customize here. By the way, I got this from watching Glenn Webb videos. They were super entertaining and super helpful. He was probably my favorite. Yeah, I would say he was my absolute favorite toy tuber. Is that an accurate term? Dude that talked about action figures. I loved his action figure evolution. That was really cool, especially when I got into collecting these figures. And by the way, if you're a near collector, go look up Glenn Webb, and just by watching some of those videos, you'll get schooled on all the different figures. And if you're into customizing, that guy was way ahead of his time. I can only imagine if he was still alive today, producing content, that he would probably be one of the better customizers, because he was doing good stuff, several years ago, and he passed away. I want to say maybe 4 years ago now, maybe more. And if he would have kept at it, yeah, he would have been really good. I think he may have been at the same level as Craig Warwick was at that time. And he's actually, Glenn Webb was the guy that, that's how I found out about Craig Warwick. They were buddies. How's that looking? Does that look all right to you guys? I think I need to build more over here now. I gotta start widening out. Matter of fact, one of my favorite customs that I did, the spot custom, was definitely influenced by Glenn. He did a cool spot, and I saw it. I think it was on a Friday I saw it, or a Thursday, and I'm like, oh, I gotta try to do this custom. It looks really awesome. I didn't even know who the character was. I just thought it looked cool. Hey, what's up, Carl? Fig Life, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. I guess if I didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't be watching right now, because I wouldn't be doing it. Trevon, I don't know what a pay collab is, but if it involves like selling stuff, wouldn't be interested at all. What's up, Vexus? Oh man, I'm way behind. Okay, so Darren, I think he's already starting to get top heavy. For sure. What I probably should have done, and it's too late to do that now, And I literally, it just came to mind right now as you mentioned that. I should have done foil. I should have done foil. And I could have built up the cluster and it would have been so much lighter. And the funny thing is I had that in my arsenal. But oh well. Actually, my initial plan was to use the mane from this guy, and actually it is in there. I decided, let me cut it up and just use this as a base, but it would have been better just to go with plastic, and I could have saved that mane for another project. Who knows? One of the figures, one of the customs that I want to do in an Omega Redbuck, unless I can think of another one right that would be better. He's a Spider-Man villain, I think, but I'm forgetting his name right now. It's a lion. It's not really a lion. It's one of those mixed creatures, a sphinx. And I don't think that's his name, but I want to do that character because he's a really cool looking character. He's like a sea level. A paid collab is we make a drawing. Oops. I missed that comment. I'm going to have to come back around and see it. Arthur, I agree that Select Hulkbuster is great. Let me catch up with it. I'm just afraid that this is going to dry out, but I think it would be good. I'm running down the chat right now, see what everybody said, so I can catch up and get going again. Processes. Darren posted on Instagram, if you have an Instagram, and hashtag it This Week in Customs, and that's how that's pretty much how I see all customs. I don't look under any other hashtag, just because This Week in Customs generates a lot of work already. It's close to like 21,000 entries from when I started about a year ago. So put it on there. All right, hold on. I gotta get this going. That's a heat gun, so I don't have to really spend too much time. And that was on the low setting, and you see how easily now it becomes malleable. And when you first start working with Procreate, you'll notice it's very difficult. It's a lot different than Milliput, than Aves Epoxy. Those are completely different types of putties. They just respond differently. Their cure time is longer, so they're malleable longer. Oops, was completely off screen. I'm gonna have to add some stuff on there. That doesn't look good. So I'm trying to concentrate here. That's why I got quiet. Something going on here that I don't really like, but I'll address that later. What's up, Jimbo? Big Kid, what's up? Yeah, Glenn was cool. He definitely is missed in this community. A custom weapon H? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. You know who needs to make a custom weapon H? Is Draw Customs. Because his sculpting, he could probably do, you know, those whatever the claws that are coming out of his body, those big huge claws. I guess I could do them out of styrene. I've actually thought about them, but I just have way too many customs that I've already planned. Where do I want to put this? Let me see. Let's put it over here. So I don't know. It's a really cool looking character, obviously, right? A Hulk and a Wolverine put into one character. I just haven't really enjoyed the comics very much. The stories, for me anyway, haven't been very compelling. So even though the character is cool, there's really no motivation for me to do it. But he is a cool looking character. But I think Draw Customs would be the guy to do that one and do it justice. Need to fill over here some. Maybe the green is throwing me off. By the way, that's green stuff. Very similar to Procreate. I think it's made by the same company too. All right, so he can still look up, so I'm good with that mane there. Let me cut some more, and then I'll interact with the chat. I decided to use the Procreate instead of the green stuff because it's old and I want to get rid of what I have before it goes bad. And I think this stuff ends up going bad eventually. Yeah, Nightwalker, you could do the same thing. What's up, Vic? Prime Artist 1977 says, I create content on my Instagram with what I like. I'm a photographer and toy collector, so I combine the two. My page is slowly growing, but I only want followers and likes. People like my work. Go check them out. And use a gajillion hashtags. No, it won't. Nightwalker, it won't. Once it cures, it's like the official stuff that comes out. You can't really, I mean, if you put enough heat, eventually, like a really high heat from a gun, it will melt it, but it won't melt it. It won't melt it like it would melt it right now. So Trevon Hines says a paid collab is we make the drawing. Can you make it and we will pay you to do it? Like do a drawing on my page, like a drawing, like an actual drawing, or are you talking about a drawing like there's a toy and people pay $10 a spot, that type of drawing? Is that what you're talking about? Wayne Steinley says Chimera is probably in reference to something else that I missed. Will I be modding the joint and crouch area for greater articulation on this? No, I'm retaining the. I think you're probably talking about something else. Arthur, I don't think I have the sculpting ability yet for that. And actually, I think I would probably use styrene and cut it out. Draw it out, like stencil, and cut that out. Darren Clark says, hashtag this week in customs. I will do that. And yeah, people jumped on board a little bit over a year ago is when I decided to start doing the program. And I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes in. I don't quite remember when it happened, but I go, it would just be easier to create a hashtag. And if people want to be considered for the show, let them hashtag it. Also, because I had a customizer, how do you kids say, low key? No. Had a customizer passive aggressively tell me that he didn't want to be on the show, that he didn't want to be featured on the show. And I was like, okay, cool. I was surprised because I thought, oh, it would just be more publicity for your customs, but whatever. So I decided having a hashtag is just the safest way, even though it's all, once you put it up a picture, it's Instagram it's hosting it, so it's out there. And I just thought it would be a good thing to do for the community anyways, and the community reacted really well, and they've a ton of customizers put up work, and some don't even get featured on the show. Some are still, learning, and they're in like the very, very beginning stages of learning, so they don't often get featured on the show. I tried doing a critique my custom, but I think it was a good concept, and it was mainly I did it for me because I had a lot of people asking me how-to questions, even though I was doing a lot of how-to videos. I figured that I could address some issues, and I invited some customizers to critique along with me. And it ended up not being a very good idea, so I scratched that. So, but This Week in Customs did kind of did do well, and it caught on. I need to know when enough's enough on this thing too. I don't want to put too much, and then. What do you guys think so far? You know what? I'm gonna have to jump out of this, and I need to go look at my the statue. Let me see if I can show you the statue. Let's go with this right here. So, it's such an awesome looking statue. Definitely don't want to start collecting statue. But I was looking at the fur here, and obviously this doesn't have the whatchamacallit, butterfly joint, so I don't have to worry about that. But I am gonna do this type of design on this, and this is what I'm wanting to do, that spike. And I'm thinking that I am going to use that old Toy Biz hand. It's not quite what that is, but I think I'm going to be using part of the arms. I'm trying to bring it over here in the picture. So I took the spike that was on that elbow, and I want to redo it. You see, I'm building a glove, and I try to put texture on the glove, kind of like what that glove has, just using my fingerprint. I don't know if that works or not, but that's what I went with. But I really like how the mane looked on this thing. This guy's got a Skeletor tattooed on his arm. And that's what I was looking. I was looking at that mane. And I was trying to kind of capture this. Except I don't know if I can... I was thinking of maybe going a little bit farther down, and I still may do that. But because the bodies are so different because of that butterfly joint, I may not be able to do it as much. But it looks like I need to get a little bit wider on top and have it be more like not a T shape, like a V shape. And I want to have like somewhat of a V shape down here for the uniform, like that goes down. It's such a nice looking Awesome, awesome statue. Let me jump back on the chat and see what you guys are saying. Thanks, Bryce. What's up? Thanks, big kid. Yeah, I like that spot, man. I make a drawing. No, I don't think. I'm not much of a drawer. I can't draw where the beans. I'm way back, man. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate that. He said the fur is coming out so good. What's up, Devin? I hope you're still on here. That way I can say hi. Oh, okay. Now so Trevin says, you make the drawing and I make an action figure out of it. Oh, so kind of like a commission. I'm gonna have to say no. I appreciate that. Make sure you drop your page on here so people can go check you guys out. But I'm super busy. I'm not taking any commissions at the moment. And I think there's probably better people to do something like that than me. T-Money, whose show? This show? Or the This Week in Customs? Got you into doing customizing? If that's what you said, cool. Yeah, that green part, just imagine it's gray. I forgot that I was using Procreate, and for whatever reason I started working with this green stuff, and I was like, wait a second, I need to get rid of this Procreate. So I went back and started it. I need to go wider over here. Thanks, Dan. It is, Dan. It's a shrunken Marvel Select Sabretooth head. I love that sculpt. And I bought it a few years ago. I want to say maybe even 3 years ago on, was it Casting Cave or Big Heads? My back? It looks like we had a misconnection. What's up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Splinter? All right, we're back doing this thing. I need a bigger piece. I don't know what happened. I think I may have lost the connection. I don't know what happens when YouTube puts this video for people that are going to watch it non-live, if they cut out those parts when there's a misconnection. Uh-oh. There we go. think I need to start working a little bit on this side, because this the side that we're mostly going to be looking at. You know, I'm spending a ton of time on this in the back, and I think I may be good. I think I just need to widen it out over here and over here. Gotcha, Trevon. Arthur, I did make something out of the Hyperion mold. I made a gauntlet. Go check out my Instagram. It'll be some time ago. Good night, Jimbo. All right, I think, how long have I been on? I think we're going to cut it off right now. I need to do some planning, and I want to look at that reference photo. Yeah, Sentry, that's another one that I had planned on doing on that, because that Sentry needs to be updated. Ace Outlaw Customs did one a while back that looked pretty good. So, all right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to cut it off right here. I appreciate you guys hanging out all this time, and I think we're probably well over an hour now, I think. And if I find something like this that could be useful to people that follow my channel in the future, I will definitely hop on live and film it. All right, thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Be on the lookout for This Week in Customs mañana. Peace.